never was a super popular platform, but I'll tell you a little bit of a story about how I found Astal in the first place. So I was watching some old YouTube videos, and this was back in the days when YouTube had like a 10-minute time limit. So you would watch a game, and you get to this stage here. This is about the end of the video, and it's picking up this beanstalk and throwing it, and it's like, I want to try that. Because I don't just enjoy chucking parts of the scenery around. This game also has some really great art style. The musical soundtrack's really good, and a lot of people told me it reminds them of Ori and the Blind Forest, but I'm not sure if those people have actually seen either this game or Ori. I do have a bird here, and she is kind of a jerk, but I don't think she's really as evil as the one in Ori. In fact, if there's any game that this reminds me of, it's going to be 8 Eyes for the NES. And 8 Eyes is probably another one of those super obscure games. But if you go back and check the SGDQ archives, SGDQ2014, Fiesel actually ran that game, and you'll see a lot of similarities between how my bird companion works here and how the one in 8 Eyes works. We're in a single-player mode. I can go and have her do some AI control actions, and there's actually a 2-player mode of the game as well. And that one has one person controlling Astal, one person controlling Lita as your bird companion there. And I never tried that out until just a couple of weeks ago when I was at RPG Limit Break, and another Sega Saturn runner named Shentak was there. And we sat down and found out that there is actually some really cool boss strats you can do with 2 players. Unfortunately, I'd already submitted this as a 1-player run of the game. But I'll still use Lita quite a bit throughout this. Just kind of give you an overview of her mechanics. I've got 3 different actions I can do with Lita, as her bringing me food, a context-sensitive help me, and a screen-clearing attack. And the way that you use those actions is that bar in the middle of the bottom of the screen, which right now has 8 glowing orbs in it. That's my karma gauge. And depending on what my karma gauge is, that'll influence what actions Lita can do. So I'm looking to have, for certain sections of the game, a completely full bar. Like right here, I want to go ahead and have her do a context-sensitive help me, which allows me to clear out these bats that are otherwise going to block my path through there. This stage is supposed to be dark. On this screen, it's really, really bright. It's like not even slightly hiding the background there. So I think this TV is turned up pretty high. We'll go ahead and damage boost through this pig here. Damage boosting is a pretty integral part of this game, and that's also why I'm running the Japanese version, which gives you 5 health to work with instead of the 3 for the US version. We'll talk a little bit more about the version differences as we get later in the game. This is just through the first 2 stages here, which are the action platformer style stages, and on into our first boss battle style stage. This particular boss battle reminds me a lot of Castlevania. You'll see why almost immediately at the start of the fight here. And just speaking of Castlevania, we do have some Castlevania runs coming up later in the week. Castlevania 3 with Trevor only, that'll be a really good run. And also Rondo of Blood. This guy in particular, I could totally believe that he was directly out of Rondo of Blood for one of the fights. Looks exactly like one of the bosses in there, maybe with extra wings in there. Now for this boss fight, I'm going to try to hit him when he's off screen, and I'm hoping this TV shows me enough of the edge of the screen to do that. Okay, we've got the first hit in there. This is saving me a whole bunch of AI that's going to happen in the background where he's supposed to summon these minions in. They're kind of slowly flying across the screen there. But I'm going to do this so fast he doesn't have a chance to get them in. And I'll take care of phase 1. Also going to cheese out phase 2 here. He's supposed to kind of chase you around in this ball form, but he doesn't have a hitbox until he's at a certain part of his jump. So it's actually standing directly in him. And this lets me get the other 3 hits in there. You can kind of track the boss's health with that crystal in the upper right-hand corner. There's 1, 2, and 3. Easy fight. Unfortunately, not all the boss fights are going to be that easy. The second half of the game is super heavy RNG for the bosses, but I have a nice deterministic section here in the beginning of the game, which I really enjoy. That, by the way, coming on the screen there is Geist. He's going to be our main antagonist. You don't really understand much about him because, well, I'm going to skip all the cutscenes that explains what's going on. But give you an overview of the storyline. This place is entirely made out of crystals, so there's this goddess that made the world, and she made Lita, who is supposed to be in charge of bringing crystals to life, and Astal is supposed to be guarding Lita. And it turns out Astal's really bad at his job, so the first time that Lita got kidnapped and taken to the ocean, Astal broke the ocean, and he got really severely punished by that, so he's then chained up to the moon. Of course, Lita gets kidnapped again, and this time he broke the moon, so I have no idea what's going to happen to him after this game's over. Probably going to be another really severe punishment there. This is Lita's screen-clearing attack, by the way. And And the more karma gauge I have, the more effective that attack's going to be. This is also kind of showing off a lot of the basic style platforming, where Astal's got a ton of air control. So you see me kind of adjusting the height of my jumps for all of these. And as you go through this stage, like right here, I'm going to jump down without having to do any height. This one's a little bit backwind, and I'm going to go and damage boost the bird there. But you're kind of expected to have a lot of control over how long and how far that you're jumping. Unlike some games, and I mentioned Castlevania as an example, which are kind of committed to a jump, where once you're in there, you can't really change it. Astal has got really, really deep mechanics for it. Now I'm going to have the one auto-scroller stage here, where I'm riding around on my dragon, turtle, boat, fish thing. And since this is an auto-scroller, why don't we have the host read some donations and/or tell us about summer games done quick. Usually I just chill in the background music, but I thought we'll fill the time that way.
Sounds good. We have a $10 donation from Anonymous that says, "It's good to see Geyer again." And we have a $100 donation from Sniper Bano. "I stayed up late to show Geyer some support during his Astal run. Good luck to you and the rest of the runners."
Thank you, Sniper. I'm sorry that this run is about an hour and a half behind its original schedule. I told all my viewers to go and watch it, and then turns out they're having to stay up as late as I am for this one.
Am I good to read some more?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Okay, we have a $150 donation from Epic Puma. "Love watching all of the GDQ events, so now that I have a job and good pay, it's my turn to contribute. Good luck with the runs. Half goes to the current runner and half to the announcer's choice." Do you have a preference for what you're going to do?
Yeah, my choice is going to be OmniGamer playing the Fireman. He's got a US prototype of that game. It's normally going to be a Japanese-only game. And they've got some really bad translations in there, so I want to make sure that he can show those off over the course of his run. I believe that is Thursday morning for that.
Sounds good. And then mine is going to the Spectre of Torment, Vito's Big Break.
Oh, that's an awesome one.
And we got some more donations. We have a $50 donation from Thousand Sheep. "Wow, another Sega classic. Astal is a great game with another beautiful soundtrack. Good luck, Geyer, and more obscure Saturn games at GDQ, please."
Nice, thank you. So this boss coming up here, if the last one reminded me of Castlevania, this one reminds me of Secret of Mana. And if you've ever seen Tropical, it was like the very first boss in Secret of Mana. I'm almost 100% sure they directly copied that boss here for this guy. And so I really love him as a result. Secret of Mana, one of my favorite Super Nintendo RPGs. Go ahead and have Lita go and attack him. I can't hit him when he's up there. This is one of the boss fights where having two players is really, really valuable. But I can at least use Lita's first hit there to advance him into his second phase, where he goes and ducks down twice in quick succession. Get these beanstalks out of there, just taking up space. All right, now this is going to be really tough to see on this TV. Let's hopefully get this lined up. Try and hit him on this little lunge that he's going to do right here. Lunge. Okay, we got him. Now he's going to thrash around for a bit, and I'll have Lita go fire off one last barrage here. Let's go and time it right about now. Because my karma is used up a little bit from that first part, she's not going to have as big of a stream clearing attack, so I'd be a little bit careful about that one. And that is boss number 2. Once again, Geist is going to come in. And by the way, for the boss fights, you'll see that I position myself on the right-hand side of the screen. That's because otherwise you've got an animated section where you have to walk all the way across. And Astal's got a pretty slow walking speed for that. There's a few rare exceptions where they actually freeze you in place, but generally you want to be on the right-hand side to be safe. Another one of those cutscenes. Every time you see a cutscene like that, by the way, I do get a health refill, which is important to know about. Now this is probably, I mean, I guess if the Ori in the Blind Forest people had anything for this game, this is the one that reminds me a lot about Mount Horu here. But other than that, it's going to be a stage where I do a lot of damage boosting through it. So if we have some more donations, go ahead and read them.
We do indeed. We have a $50 donation from Ludus21. "Love this event. Good luck to all the runners." And we have another $50 donation from Alderach. "Again, a great GDQ. Keep up the good work. Staff and runner are the best. Donation goes to Reader's Choice."
Right there, just lead off for some food. And there's a very specific timing for that because the birds with those crystals actually have a small 1 HP recover in them. But I don't want Lita to be smart and kill me a bird. I want her to go fetch me a big fruit, but she happened to get me a full-size one there. Very appreciated. Normally the bird's kind of a jerk, but we'll see if we get some good luck here for the rest of the run as well with her. And there we go, through that stage. This is also the only area that has kind of a mini-boss where I'm going to fight a boss-like battle, but I don't get a health refill out of it. And that's important because the stage after this is like my one serious time part of the run. Here we go. Generic Fire Dragon. Actually, it's really cool. The entire stage I just went through, you had to blow things out in order to progress, and that's why I tried the damage boost as much as possible, because it takes time to do the breath animation here. So just going to blow his body out. Throw his head as close as possible to where, or throw the body as close as possible where the head is, so it doesn't take as long to reunite. I'm standing a specific spot here to avoid having him pan the camera. Normally there's a chase sequence that goes on during this section here, but instead I just want to short circuit it. Send him up for a second hit. Exactly like the first one. Wait for him to land, blow the body out, throw it over the head. And for the third phase, I'm actually going to use Lita to try to get a quick kill on him. There is, after this third hit, a part where his head just flies around, and it's really, really hard to hit. But there's a setup here that I'm going to try to do to get Lita to do both of these hits for me. And hopefully this works. There's number one. Got him. Alright, now the serious time. Sea of Clouds, this entire stage is an instant death pit, and you're supposed to be waiting for these really slow platform cycles, and I'm just not patient enough to do that, so hopefully nothing goes wrong here, or else I'll have to try the stage again from the start. Alright, got past the sea urchin there. Go ahead and do the snatcher bounce. Up the bird ladder. Not supposed to make that jump right there, but we have some platforms coming up, and Astal's got some really bad platform physics. Alright, I hopefully can get back on the cycle for that. Alright, made that bounce. Snatcher bounce there. That's a really mean one. There's spikes on the top and the bottom. I'm doing this one backwards right here, so I don't have to wait. Really weird physics glitch. I don't know what causes that, but you fly really fast through there. And that's about a 30-second version of that level that normally takes 2 minutes. Yatta indeed, Astal. That brings me to my first really jerk boss. So Behemoth here has a 50% chance of letting me throw him. Oh, nice Behemoth. Or he'll jump over me and I lose 7 seconds each time he does it. Nice, 2 in a row. Perfect Behemoth. I like that. Let's see if we get both of the hits here. This one's a little bit tricky as well. Okay, whatever. I was just putting that to take about a minute longer. I will not complain about a perfect Behemoth. When you're doing world record runs, this is probably the first stage that you reset on. You'll get through the 8 stages before that, no problem, with about plus or minus 2 seconds. And then this guy, if he does more than one jump, I just go ahead and reset for serious attempts. But that was lovely. Takes us over to our next stage, which is going to be another one of the action stages. This will be also a stage where I do a ton of damage boosts in. It also requires some sub-pixel nonsense. I don't entirely know what's going on here. But with the very first hit that I do, where I punch this frog, or try to punch the frog, it's going to shift Astal's position to hopefully let me pick up a fruit later on. Damage boost to this guy. Alright, that worked. For some reason, if you don't stop to hit that frog, you cannot pick up the fruit, and I have no idea why. Now, the rest of the stage is just running to the right and hopefully keeping good timing. This is the Super Ghouls and Ghosts stage. Lots of snowbanks falling down, which I love in that game, so let's fit in like 1 or 2 quick donations.
Well, we got plenty of them. So we have a $20 donation from Gravity Penguin. Hi, Gar, love your Astal runs. Donating in honor of this Saturn gem. Get it? Gem?
That's nice.
We also have a $15 donation from Bop Tops. Hey, Games Done Quick Crew, thanks for bringing us these games for a great cause. Good luck to the runner and kill those animals.
All right, nice. I like those donations coming in. Now, this next stage is going to show off some of the limitations of the Saturn. This was a first-party Saturn game, and they really tried to push the systems to its limits. This is beautiful hand-drawn 2D sprites, but there is quite a bit of stutter that's going to happen here, and hopefully it is just the sound that's going to glitch out and not the platforms or the enemies. What's basically going to happen is I'm loading so many things in so quickly. Oh man, that's not good physics. That's not supposed to happen. It's going to show me over to the right-hand side of the screen, and the camera's not going to be able to keep up here for a while. Okay, there we go. Got it panned back in.
Sorry to interject, but we actually just crossed $250,000, so we are a quarter of a way to 1 million.
Awesome. And nothing broke besides the sound. So you might have noticed the sound going. So I originally thought my disc was really scratched, and I was annoyed at the person that sold it to me, but it turns out every copy does that if you walk through the stage fast enough. Go ahead, damage boost to this guy some more. We're going to just try to catch on this bird cycle. Let's get the middle one. Oh, nice, we got it. You're supposed to cut those stalactites down with Lita's help me command, but you can just bounce over them if you have enough speed going through there. And that'll take me to the next boss, Frostbite. And I told you earlier on about how there is a 2-player mode. Well, this is a boss which captures Astal, so you're forced to play as Lita even in 1 player. That gives you an opportunity to kind of see some of Lita's moves. And in general, she's a lot weaker than Astal is. So you're going to see that I have to do a bunch of multi-hit combos just to get 1 hit on this guy. He's also another boss that likes to do a 50% move where I just can't hit him at all. So if you hear him do tornadoes, I'm going to be really upset. But he likes to do it a lot. So I expect at least 1. Hopefully we get good patterns here with the crystals. This one's a little bit of a dodgy one. But gonna get tornado. He could do that like 5 times if he wants to be really, really mean. I'm actually going to damage boost myself into him. Usually if you take damage on a boss, it'll end their attacks a little bit faster. Not totally guaranteed, but it's your best option. Going to turn it to me again. Just stop anytime Frostbite. There you go. Boing. So Lita has a little dive attack. You're supposed to curve that around, but I just go and plow her right into the ground there. This is where Astal's kind of lovingly coming to terms with this bird, who's actually his girlfriend that's been transformed to the bird. He doesn't quite catch on. He's a little bit of a slow learner, but he's coming to like her nonetheless. And so we're going to go into our last action stage here coming up. This one starts off with some interesting RNG. There's a big crawler, and he's got a 75% chance of doing a bad cycle where he does a double reverse, and a 25% chance of a good cycle. Hopefully we get the good one. It's about 13 seconds you lose otherwise, and there's really nothing you can do set up to make those go any faster.
Do I have some time to read donations?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Cool. We have a $120 donation from Gist Trio, $15 towards naming Cyndaquil Boneless, because come on, I just have to. We have a $150 donation from Gil Hamilton, first try Bane hype.
That's a reference to Final Fantasy 1 for people that don't realize that. Oh, nice, we got the good pattern too. So we'll go on to crawler number 2 here. We're going to try to damage boost and do a little bit of a clip to the right. Normally you're not supposed to be able to go to the right. It's supposed to push you to the left very, very hard. We'll see if we get it here or not. Now we got pushed to the left. Only cost me about half a second right there if that happens. So I still go for it even though it's like completely minor. Let's damage boost into that guy. The paratroopers you can't damage until they hit the ground. So I damage boosted the first one so that I can run directly through the second one. Lets me line up these jumps here. Makes it so much easier to get through this part of the stage. And we're going to have the return of Geist, who we've been seeing in a couple of the boss battles. So he's going to basically blow the stage up. You're supposed to wait for like 7 or 6 of these little pillars to hide behind. But I'm kind of impatient, so I'm just going to plow my way through it. Go ahead, take the damage right here. And he also is supposed to taunt you into the last pillar. But if he's already got a fireball on the screen like that, then he can't take it back. So it shortcuts that last cycle, so you don't have to wait for it. And that'll take me to the 2 final stages, which are both going to be boss battles. The first one is going to be the battle with Geist, and he's got a 50% chance of throwing fireballs, which I can't do anything about. It costs me 13 seconds. Or he'll give me some orbs, which I can actually try to damage him. The first time he always fireballs, so that's a fake out. But after that, we're hoping for orb. And he's got a really long monologue where he's going to villain at me. So if you want to read a donation, go right ahead.
Sounds good. We have a $100 donation from Ty Crazy, I believe. Greetings from France. I discovered speedrunning with you 3 years ago and fell in love with it. Keep up the great work. We have a $10 donation from Umuri. Hello from Australia. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to all the runners and organizers, but especially to Geyer. His streams and commentary have given me hours of entertainment over the past few months. Life has chucked a few curveballs my way recently, so I wasn't able to give as much as I would like, but I hope it helps. Give it to Guyer's choice. Best of luck to all the runners.
All right, having Lita help me out here. I also had her bring me some food at the start while we were waiting for Geist to finish up. So somebody's giving me 1 orb. Nice, 2 orbs. I'll take that. Ooh, another one that we can have Lita help me on. There's 3 different patterns of the orbs. 2, 3, or 4 orbs are going to pop up there, and Lita will help me on the 3 or 4 orb groups. Oh, there's a fireball. Your going goes so well, Geist, and then you had to misbehave like that. Not bad. 3 out of 4. Oh, this is the 2 one, though. Okay, we got him. So that ends phase 1. Would have ended phase 1 here. I got it warped in the face. Let's try that again. Just waiting for him to finish these fireballs up. There we go. Now that ends phase 1. Phase 2, he also has 2 attacks, but I can at least hit him on both versions of it. The orbs are actually slightly slower, and it's a 5 orb pattern that you haven't seen before. Or we can do a spear attack on me. This is the orbs. It's about a 1.5 seconds slower than the spear. Here we go. Let's see if we can get the timing on this. Right in the face. 1 more hit on this guy, and then we'll go into the final boss battle after that. Now, the final boss battle, as you might expect from kind of this trend here, is going to be even more random and chaotic in this. Luckily, his first phase, you can kind of get some tells on it. So once he crawls out of this big giant hole here, he's going to go and throw 0 to 3 Frost Dragons. After the Frost Dragons, he's going to give me one of those Beanstalks we saw at the beginning of the game, and that's how I'm going to hit him for his first 2 hits. So he's going to go Frost Dragons, Beanstalk, Frost Dragons, Beanstalk, and then he goes nuts. I'll have no real way of predicting what's going to happen after that, at least until we get to the very end of the fight. You can body slam the Frost Dragons there. That gives you a karma point, so you can just stock up on them if you need them. A nice 1 Frost Dragon Beanstalk. A little bit better than average. Take that right in the face. Let's see what number 2 gives us. Timing on a lot of these throws is pretty twitchy, but usually not too bad to get. And there we go. 2 1 cycles. Can have that one as well. Now I want him to go Mike Tyson on me here. There we go, 1 punch. 2 punches. Now ideal is Beanstalk next. Gerard, you're really not cooperating. That was a fake out on there. That's the rocks. He can start doing them. They look like Beanstalks, but then they get mean. You can tell if it's a rock or not ahead of time because the rock will chase you while the Beanstalk will only be in the center of the screen. So far, not too bad. There's a rock. For rock. Rock, and this should be a punch next. He gets a little bit predictable for the last 2 hits. This is the last hit, by the way, so get ready on time. Will you give me a Beanstalk? You will. What a nice guy. Backup leader just in case he punches, but he doesn't. Time. Celebratory bird while this is going on. 2320 is really great. I love it. I was challenged by Chaos to get a sub 24, and we crushed that. So Chaos is the current world record holder. I've taken it from him twice so far, but I was away at RPG Limit Break for a month, so he's had time to go and work on the game while I was off. But you know, I'm coming for you, Chaos, there. And with that, hope you guys enjoyed Astal, and we'll continue on.